please put your hands together and welcome for 2017 the Volvo Cars Poole Pirates. A very warm welcome to Wimborne Road, and a particular welcome on behalf of Volvo Cars Poole, James Litton and David Kelly, and we'll hear from them shortly, I'm sure. So we're going to begin, please, at this end of the line. As usual, we always hear from the boss first, and it's no exception this year as we welcome Matt Ford. Well, my questions were going to begin about the commercial climate and the busy winter that you've had, but all of that is trumped this morning by the news, and that news is fantastic for the club. Volvo Cars Poole on board.
Yes, it really was a 11th hour contract or agreement between David and James and myself, and I'm extremely proud. I mean, what a name to have on board, and they're in their third year of trading now, I believe, and things are going from strength to strength for them, and I hope that we can build on that.
Well, I hope we can perhaps grab a word with one or both of the gentlemen before we leave you. But in commercial terms, it has been a tough winter, and again, the club have been able to attract sponsorship probably like no other club, but at the same time, I know how hard you work. It's not a winter off for you, it's a winter of hard work.
It was tough. I mean, the biggest problem was that I knew from the 6th of December that Sky Sports would be not continuing, and I didn't know until just 2 weeks ago for sure that we had a television partner, a media contact there. So it's been such a rush. Thank goodness I've got a great friendship with David Kelly, and that's helped me tremendously in this case. And you know, to bring on such a huge company as Volvo Cars Poole is tremendous. But you know, everyone is important. I've always made that abundantly clear that the club success is down to the help that the sponsors give us. And it has been a tough one, but you know, we've still got a lot of guys that support us, that hardcore, year in, year out, County Crest, Wessex Marine, you know, Sunrise, Reed Fabrication, those guys, and they're all crucially important, but it's a you know, great privilege to be working with Volvo Cars Poole.
I know that you say that the sponsors are as much part of the team as the riders themselves, and it's what makes Poole Speedway tick. Despite the fact that it was a tough year in 2016, a couple of clubs finding it hard, you described the BSPA Winter Conference as the best yet, so perhaps you could elaborate on that.
I think that decisions have been made to benefit British Speedway in the long term. I can't actually remember going to an AGM previously, which I felt there was a plan. It was always pretty much a fudge to get us by year in, year out, and I felt that this year was the first time that we went along and made a plan. So it's, you know, it's effectively the first year of it. You know, it means that clubs can introduce riders like we have with James coming along. You know, it's a baptism of fire, but there's no doubt about it that, you know, other than Poland, we've got a better academy for the sport than anyone. We're producing more riders than, you know, normally the Aussies leave us standing, but not at the moment. You know, I think they've got one new rider come into the country this year, up in Edinburgh, and yet, you know, we're introducing, I think, possibly up to 10 new riders into British Speedway this year, young British guys. And that's the biggest thing, that you've seen the improvement people like Carl Newman, Steve Worrell, Jason Garrity have made in the last couple of years. Now we want these guys to do it.
And in terms of team building, obviously there's changes with regard to the way the averages have been calculated for this year. I think probably most of the people in the room are well aware of that, but for anyone that perhaps isn't aware of just how the team building has worked, again, it provided its own headaches, didn't it?
It did. If someone can explain it to me, it'd be great. But no, all joking aside, it's one of those things. You know, I like to think I know what I'm doing. So I feel the team that we've benefited in one or two of them. Nicolai Klindt in particular, I think. You know, I'm just ecstatic to get him in on the average that he's come in on. It's you know, I almost want to say it's wrong, but we're benefiting from it. So you know, I think it's a great bonus. So. You know, it's strange how things change. You know, I went to the AGM and right to the last minute, the day before, averages were still changing, and Brady Kurtz was one of them. So, he suddenly became very available to me.
That's good to know. And you touched earlier on about the new TV partnership with BT Sport. Again, that's a positive. Rather, it may be saying goodbye to one long-standing supporter of Speedway, with Sky Sports closing the door. But when one door closes, another door really does open.
That's absolutely true. I mean, as much as initially, I think I was at the start of December. You sulk for a little while, thinking, "My God, what are we going to do?" And but the truth of the matter is that BT Sport. I mean, for goodness' sake, they're just. I'm not saying they put this type of money in the Speedway. In actual fact, it's far from it. But they've just signed a £1.2 billion contract with the Champions League. They are, and I hate to use the word, but they are stealing sports from Sky at the moment. There's more to come. I can assure everybody. It will be the channel to be on, and we've had to change our supplier this week to make sure that we're now with BT and not Sky, and it will be a numbers game if we can prove to BT just how important we are as a sport. Then of course it will benefit us all greatly.
Well, we're very glad to be in their repertoire, as it were. Now, you said probably 3-4 months ago, I think, when you were our guest at the Riders Equipment Fund social evening, you said that we'll be favourites again, you said. Nigel, I assure you, you're still as confident.
I actually haven't seen the betting. Someone did say something about the Somerset being 50-1 to me a couple of days ago. I actually haven't seen the betting. I forgot to look. But I feel we will be. I think that we have a strength in depth. I think that if you look at a couple of the teams, Rye House, Wolverhampton, even Kings Lynn, who I feel have had a benefit on Robert Lambert this year in terms of his average. But I think that we're certainly there. The difference, I believe, is the fact that we have got a high-scoring reserve. Whoever that may be, it will start with Nick. It could be Jack. It could be Kyle. It could be Brady. It depends on which one gets going. But I think that we've got strength and depth. So, I think we'll be fine.
I think so too. Well, it's time to perhaps get a couple of words from our new partners. I'd love to introduce, please, for Volvo Cars Poole, please welcome James Litton and David Kelly. This is James next to me, and David in between Matt and myself. So first of all then, James, are you familiar with Speedway, first of all?
Not particularly, I have to confess, but I'm very excited to start to learn a new sport. My wife is from Norfolk, and apparently these could be some sort of heated discussions between her and I about Kings Lynn versus Poole, but that's as much as I know so far. So I see a few faces looking at me out there as if I mentioned that dirty word in this room, so I apologise if I've upset anybody. So at least I've covered that, I think.
Well, there's a few guys here that you can have a word with to make sure that your flag is held highest in the household. I'm sure they'll look after you for that. David, I know that you've been a long-standing supporter of Speedway here at Poole. Delighted that you're back on board with Matt.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely thrilled, and we weren't expecting the opportunity, and absolutely really pleased to be involved in this way, particularly with a relatively new business of ours. And very excited about the season coming up as well.
It's exciting times for Volvo, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Volvo in Poole was very quiet for probably a generation, and we came along in May 2000, or 18 months ago, I suppose, and we've been building it up since then. It's gone very, very well, and we're going to be moving it up to the Ringwood Road with a lot more profile this year. So it's just a fantastic time for us to be involved with the Poole Pirates.
Fantastic news. We're glad to have you on board. Finally, James, as far as the location goes, a brand new showroom in the offing.
Yeah, a new showroom, new facilities, and for us, very much like the Pirates, we see ourselves as a very strong presence in the local area, and moving to that location will further entrench that position. And we want to be associated with successful people, successful businesses, but also in very much a local environment. And our new partnership will allow us to do that, which is really exciting.
Delighted to have you on board, gentlemen. Please, for Volvo Cars Poole, James Litton and David Kelly. Well, before we turn to the riders in the race suits, we'll have another word from the suits, as it were. Always glad to have this gentleman on board. He knows he's going to get called up, and he's always got plenty to say for himself. He's the third man in the promotional trio of Matt Ford, Giles Hartwell, and Gordon Pairman. Gordon, you've got to say twice as much because Giles never wants to talk on these events, so you're going to have to say twice as much, which is not a problem for you, is it?
Usually before this, you come up and say you're going to talk to me, and this year I was going to say no, I'm not going to speak. So
only Giles gets. There's only one veto, and Giles gets that.
okay, well I'll speak. What do you want me to say? I'm not saying it. I'll say anything you want.
Well, we'll go for the obvious question because we like to ask the obvious questions. The team that Matt has assembled once again is pulled the rabbits out of the hat, and it's looking very, very good indeed, isn't it?
I think it's outstanding this year. I think there's no doubt about it at all. The betting is right. We've got 7 great riders, and they'll move around. It's great to have Krzysztof back. I worked with Krzysztof at Bellevue in 2008, and he was brilliant to work for. And he's been desperate to come back here and ride with Matt, and it's so good to have him on board. Hans, oh well, he's rubbish, but we have to do that gets you back for this morning. But no,
They started.
it's a great team. I'm sure everyone in this room must think it is fantastic. But again, as you say, rabbits from the hat. It's what happens when you're good, and you only get better. So that's what we've got.
I know that you often are the sounding board for Matt. Particularly, you tell me if the team hasn't done well, and you're staying overnight at Matt's, you have to try and placate the situation. But does Matt use you as a sounding board when he's assembling the team? Do you get any input into that? Is it entirely a one-man affair?
Happily, he never asks me. He knows what it is. I mean, what you say about the bad nights, I'm thinking of having a black tie. It's permanent residence in Matt's house just for those special occasions. But no, you can't top him. There's no doubt about that at all. He's I've said it before, all the promoters want to be him, and all the rival supporters hate him because he's so good. But he had a haircut this morning because he said he was getting too big again. But no doubt, I mean, it's a great looking team. There are a few that are out there. I know we've talked about Rye House, and Rye House look very strong, but the difference with Rye House is that you've got 3 guys that are going in a different direction in their career that are at the top, and we've got guys that are going up the way. And I think that it's the old thing, it looks good on paper, but I think we will look good on the track.
Very wise words indeed. I hope that you won't have any use for your black tie this year. I'm confident about that. It's a big commitment for you to be here on a Wednesday. Could you live far away?
The travelling is getting harder and harder all the time, there's no doubt. But it's and I don't always make every week because of that. There was a thing over the winter where I was approached by Manchester City Council to get involved in Bellevue, and that would have been easy as a hop over. But various people have told me I have dodged a bullet on that one, and I think I'm quite happy to have kept my bank balance intact and let someone else deal with it. And I was saying to Matt, it feels only yesterday I got involved. This is my 7th season at Poole, and I've loved every minute of it except for the black tie nights. And so I'm delighted to be back. And it stayed last night. Helen made us a wonderful dinner last night, so I shall be back on a regular basis, if only for the food.
A man and his tummy. Well, I'm glad to say that you haven't just dodged the bullet with regard to Bellevue, because you've dodged my last question, which was going to be about that very subject. So thank you. Gordon Pairman. Well, we'll move on down the line, and we're jumping around the order a little bit, but we thought we'd mix things up a little bit this year. We'd first like to talk to a gentleman. He's one of our British riders, comes with an average of 6.31. At 25 years, he's becoming a Pirates fixture like the ones he used to watch in his childhood. It's Kyle Newman. It's the old question again, isn't it? I mean, having watched in the terraces and all the rest of it for all those years, you really are becoming a Pirates fixture. It's a dream come true. We've talked about that many times, but it truly is. And to be part of the team and now in the top 5, it's wonderful.
Hey, it's starting to make me feel a bit old saying that.
Well, 25, you're not the baby of the team anymore, are you?
No, I know, but you know, I've still got a few more years left before you can keep me in Hans's and Krzysztof's books.
I haven't yet said you're a legend, but we're hoping that legend status will be following soon.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's great to be back. You know, there's no question whether I want to be back here or not, and yeah, hopefully I can continue for many years and eventually get that status.
You had a more relaxed winter preparation this year, do you think?
No, Andy and Joe worked me like a slave at Meridian Lifts, but no, I gotta thank them for that. There was, you know, obviously last year didn't go quite to how I wanted it to, so they gave me a job in the winter, and it kept me busy. Actually, it kept me on my toes, and yeah, it was actually a nice change from the normal. So just raring to go now.
Absolutely, and we said that obviously you're starting in the top 5. That's a new challenge for you.
Yeah, it's something that I've wanted for the last few years. Obviously, the one time I managed to get into it last year, I got injured. So, you know, it's now the goal is to stay up in the top 5 and push on even further. So, you know, I feel capable of doing it, especially if I can start how I finished last year and just keep pushing forwards.
All joking aside about your legacy with the Pirates, it was with tremendous pride, I would imagine, that you accepted the vice captaincy.
I didn't accept it. Matt just told me I had it. But I still don't know what I'm meant to do with it, but yeah, no.
Well, it means that you're going to be first off the truck to toss the coin any time that Hans isn't available.
I'll get kicking hands a little bit more then.
They don't normally like that task.
No, yeah, it's, you know, it's an honour, and hopefully one day I can, you know, go on to take the full captaincy role. That would be, you know, a great achievement for me at Poole. But yeah, it's going to be a fun year. Hopefully I can learn a lot off Hans, and hopefully I can help the boys with it as well.
Obviously, with your feet firmly on British soil, do you have eyes still on Team GB?
Yeah, definitely. I feel in a lot better position this year to do it than I did last year, and you know, I feel, you know, in my personal ability, I feel more than capable of getting there. It's just obviously you've got to put it down on track and prove your worth to Roscoe and to get into Team GB.
Every year you've learnt and built on the career that you've made to where you are now. Can you say that last year was another learning year?
Yeah, definitely, because I haven't had such a year where it's been broken up so much, so I sort of had to keep coming back from it, and I think, you know, if something happens again, I'll know what to do a bit differently this time to get back a bit quicker, or, you know, come back stronger. But yeah, you know, it was tough last year, but you know, you've got to look for the positives, and you take positives from anything and try and learn from it, and just keep moving forward with it.
Great to have you back in the side. Long may it continue. Kyle Newman. I'm going to move down the line to the first of our incoming riders for 2017. He's another British man, and up to now I think most of his success, you could say, has been achieved on grass track. He is the current European grass track champion, and he's twice British champion on the grass as well. He's turning his attention very firmly to the shale now, and a chance to prove himself in the top elite side. He is James Shane. I mentioned the top elite side, and of course Premiership Speedway beckons for you as a big step up, and just tell us your thoughts as you head on to really concentrate on the shale.
Yeah, it's a massive step up for me, but Matt and like Carl and pretty much everyone in the team have been quite helpful with me so far. It's going to be hard work, but I've never trained as hard before to do it, and to try and perform as well as I know I can in my home track would be amazing.
Now I noticed when the news first broke that you were going to be joining the Pirates, you revealed that you thought the phone call was coming from a friend having you on, because you were expecting a very different phone call. Is that true?
Yeah, it was. I was out shopping with my girlfriend, and an unknown number phoned me, I answered it, and it turned out to be Matt. And as soon as Matt hung up, I then phoned my mum and dad and said, I don't know what's going on, I think I've just been prank called. And then the text came through, said, yeah, this is what's happening, and then my dream is suddenly become reality.
And hopefully not too daunted by the prospect. As I say, you've got plenty of success behind you. This is just a different format.
Yeah, it's a sister sport, but it's very different in its ways. Also, I've grown up with riding grass, and it's about my third season on Speedway now. So to be given the chance to ride here is is a massive thing for me, and hopefully I can show everyone what I can actually do.
I'm guessing that today is an important day for you because it's a chance to get to grips with the track for the first time, really.
Yeah, I've been, since I think Monday, I've been really nervous about coming here today. I spent the last 2 days making sure everything's been perfect to come here, and I woke up this morning, it's just been the longest morning I think I've ever had to spend to come here to get ready today, so hopefully I can get a chance to go out on track and get to grips with it.
And is it good to be in the company of the GP stars, you know, Kasprzak, Andersen?
Yeah, it's been amazing. I met Kasprzak at the start of the winter when I went to see pro with me, so he was walking out and I was walking in, and him and Andersen and two guys I've looked up to pretty much my whole career, and now to be sat alongside them and racing with them is a dream come true.
Fantastic story. And finally, in terms of your own expectations, it's important for us not to put pressure on you, but do you put pressure on yourself, and what do you set your own goals?
I'm trying not to put a lot of pressure on myself. I just want to enjoy my experience here. Matt and Middleditch made it very clear to me that I've just got to go out and give it my all and try my best, and my average, what I'd like to do at the end of the year is walk away with an average that I've earned to say I've held my own in the league.
Fantastic. Long may you continue to do that, please, for James Payne. So we said that we were going to mix things up a little bit, and unusually we are going to now turn to the team manager for a few words. Of course, he's steered the Pirates already to 7 titles. He's aiming to make it 8 in 2017. He is, of course, Neil Middleditch. We've heard a little bit, Neil, about what some of the other riders have been doing during the winter. Is it a chance for you to recharge?
No, I keep working all winter. You know, I don't really have any time off at all during the winter. Every 7 days a week for me.
You're right, seven days of golf.
Yeah, can't believe like that. No, it's I'll switch off a little while, but as soon as we hit January and Speedway starts, things start happening, and it's starting to get exciting. Never lose the buzz.
No, and you can't lose the buzz once it's in the blood. Of course, today is an important day for the new riders. It's their chance for them to get to grips with the track, a chance for you to get to know them and their different temperaments, I guess.
Yeah, I think practice day, I mean, hopefully, we have to have a look at the track in a little while. I mean, today is just really for them to get their legs back again. I mean, most of them have been riding already anyway, but yeah, I mean, I know most of the boys anyway, so hopefully we'll get on well together. I'm sure we will. I mean, Matt, once again, has assembled a team, which he always does, one that we intend to win the league with, and I think that this year's no different.
The intent never changes, it's always in the sights, as it were. Are you pleased to see the return of the Knockout Cup, a couple of new teams in the league?
Oh yeah, I think any competition is good. The Knockout Cup was always the sort of second one. I mean, any trophy's nice to win. I mean, I think we've got the last Knockout Cup over there in the office, and hopefully we can retain the new, or get the new one.
And the new sort of format of the league, is that going to give, do you think, an opportunity for new stars to emerge?
Well, I hope so. I think, like Matt said, there's a lot of British boys coming up into the leagues, which is very, very important, because we have sort of not had that over the years. And I think that British Speedway is now learning by their mistakes, shall we say, from years gone by, but giving the English boys a chance, which is great to see. And to have, young James in the team and Kyle, 2 local boys, is brilliant.
Now, I know you and I have spoken a few times over the last couple of weeks regarding the meeting which is going to open the season. Of course, that's Darcy's meeting. I know how close you are to Darcy, and it's going to be a great night for Dido.
Yes, it'll be brilliant. I think he's assembled a great field. It just shows the esteem that the riders held for Darcy in his certainly short career. But I hope we'll have a great turnout. Hopefully the weather will be kind to us. I know it's a shame Darcy can't be here, but I think it's people. I'm not sure if they're aware that the fact is that Lizzie is his carer, and she's applying for an Aussie citizenship. She's not allowed to leave the country for 18 months. So unfortunately, obviously Darcy can't travel without her. But I know if he's not here in my body, he'll certainly be here in spirit, and people will be keeping him informed. But yeah, hopefully it'll be a great night for him.
I hope so too. We'll aim to keep him informed and to keep you guys in touch with him during the meeting. That's still being just ironed out at the moment. But thank you, Neil Middleditch. So moving on into the top 5 of the Volvo Cars Poole Pirates for 2017. Let's welcome one of our Australians who travels across the world to join up for the 2nd year running. He's 20 years old. He's returning for his 2nd term on an average of 7.65. He is, of course, Brady Kurtz. Brady, something of a change in the weather conditions, I think, for you, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit different from where I just come from, but it doesn't take too long to adjust.
How do you feel at the end of the last year? Did it measure up to your expectations? I know a lot of people put pressure on you last year, but were you happy with how it ended up?
No, I think obviously, we all seen that the end of the year the last few meetings weren't good for me, but aside from that, I think I had an overall good season. I kept my average, of maybe even put a little bit on, and I enjoyed my first year, and it was obviously a tough year. All the tracks were new and everything was new to me, and I think this year should be a whole lot easier for me, and there's no reason why I can't be that bit better.
I know that you wintered back home in Australia, worked hard again, so it hasn't been a winter off for you. Mixed success and a bit of an injury scare. We talked about that last week when you came to our forum, and that's all clear now. But in general terms, the winter, were you happy with that?
Yeah, I think it's always good when you go home, to the summer and all your family and friends, and it's always good regardless with the riding and without it. And but I did the Aussie titles and everything, and some bits were good and some bits were bad. But I think I learned what I needed to learn to come to the start of the year now and be ready for everything. And that my equipment's good, and I think we should be fine.
We've got two new tracks in the Premiership this year with Somerset and Rye House coming into the equation. They're tracks that you're familiar with, so it might be that you'll be able to pass on something to the rest of the Pirates.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Somerset I'm really familiar with. Spent my first 2 years there, and it's for sure if not my favourite track that's in the UK. So I'm really looking forward to going there, and done a fair few meetings in Rye House in my first few years. So and that's quite a track I enjoy going to. So I'm glad of all the tracks that came up. It's been them two.
Nice to hear. And in terms of your preparations for this year, much to change? Preparations the same or different?
Not really. Last year everything was different for me, and I think that was a big challenge. So this year I've tried to keep everything the same. I'm at the same teams. I've got the same bikes as last year, and so hopefully that'll make it all a bit easier and more familiar to me.
I wish you a very, very good second year with the Pirates. Brady Kurtz, everyone. Joining him on that long journey across the world is a man who I think we've probably been anticipating as becoming a full-time pirate for a little while now. He carries a very famous name. He's following in the family footsteps, and he turns 21 tomorrow. It's Jack Holder! Jack, sorry I gave the game away on the birthday there.
Nah, it's all good.
It's all good. Might get a couple of extra birthday cards, who knows? I mentioned obviously you've got the famous family Holder name, and is that something which is a burden to carry as you join the Pirates?
It's good and bad, I look up to my brother, and he's done really good here, so he helps me out a lot, and hopefully he can, when he's not riding at King's Inn or anywhere, he can come down and have a look.
It'd be good to see him around Wimborne Road for sure. You were very patient. You waited to take the opportunity to come into the Premiership, and I think that was as much your decision as anybody's to take your time and to do it when you felt ready. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was at Plymouth for 2 years, and that was sort of up and down. They went bankrupt or whatever they did, and but then they come back, and it's good to sort of get away from that track because it was a real small one, and I don't really like little small ones. So did my 2 years there, and went now with Peterborough, and now I get a chance to do Poole. So it's good.
You could say that you served your apprenticeship almost in the Poole pits because most weeks you were alongside Chris. So there's not going to be too many surprises for you, I guess.
No, I was here pretty much every meeting I had here, and I know what to expect and hopefully know the setup. So we've got a good team, so hopefully all the boys can gel together and it'll be a good year.
And do you prepare mentally slightly differently for riding in Premiership? Is it just another meeting?
Yeah, just look at it as another meeting. It's a big step up, but I'm capable of doing it, so it should be alright.
And I know that riders like to keep themselves sharp, so as far as your involvement with Peterborough in the championship section of the racing system, the championship Peterborough setup means that you get plenty of racing and keeps you sharp.
Yeah, I've got 95 meetings plus, so I'm really busy this year, which is good to be on the track and keep you sharp. So hopefully it's a good year for me this year.
Absolutely. Well, glad to have you. You've answered my last question earlier on because I said, are we going to see Chris helping you out in the pits, and you reckon yes?
Yeah, it should be. It's going to be hard because Kingsley, I'm pretty sure, on the same night. So I'm sure if he's free, I'm sure he'll be down here.
Good to see him. And good to see you, Jack Holder. A new face coming into the 2017 lineup comes from Denmark, one of a brace of Danes coming to race for the Pirates. He comes in on an average of 5.42 at 28 years of age. We've already described him as the bargain of the season in average terms. He is Nicolai Klindt. How does it feel to be described as a bargain, Nicolai?
That's the first, isn't it?
Absolutely. No sales here. With the average, I'm guessing you could have probably had the pick of clubs, but Poole was the one that you trumped for in the end.
Yeah, I was pretty fortunate with my choice of clubs this year. Compared to the year before, but I also had a lower average. I think my average was like 3.8. But obviously when Matt approached me, it didn't take long to sort a deal out. Because, like everyone knows, it's a winning team, and you don't want to ride on a winning team.
Well, I know that's a big attraction for a lot of the riders when they come to Wimborne Road. The day actually has been a long time coming for you, because I think there's been other occasions when it's been very close, or you've been very close to being a pirate.
Yeah, Matt was actually the first one to bring me over in, I think it was 2005 for a Young Guns meeting, and did the same the following year. And since then it hadn't worked out due to Danish fixtures riding on a Wednesday. But this year we've been fortunate to mix it a bit. So I'm going to miss a couple here, miss a couple in Denmark, and it all looks great. So it's great to finally be here.
You were good enough to come and join us for one of our Riders Equipment Fund evenings. You came and had a chat with me. And on that occasion you said that you got a bit of a niggling injury, so I'm hoping that that's all passed.
Yeah, that's all sweet now. I had the all clear on the 24th of Jan, I think it was. My screw is out, my pins is out, and the bone is finally healed. So I've been riding I think 4 or 5 times now without any issues. So it's just to go for it now.
Good to hear that it's tip top. And on Friday, you'll be taken to the track in earnest not for the first time actually, because of course you were racing at Wolverhampton at the weekend with Hans, and we'll talk to Hans about that as well. But in Darcy's meeting, of course, a good opportunity to get the cobwebs blown out and to get comfortable with the track.
Yeah, I had 2 meetings here last year. Well, both times I didn't start very well, but finished off pretty good. I've invested a few pounds in my engines for this year. I've got engine made especially for Poole because it was pretty sick towards the end of last year, so hopefully that will benefit me. And I've also opted when we go to King's Lynn, because I was lacking a bit of power when we went there last year. So all in all, I'm looking forward to Friday to try a few things and be ready for next Wednesday.
I know if you're going to start out in the season wearing 6 or 7, it will certainly be in your targets to make sure that doesn't last too long.
That was one of the reasons why I wanted to come here as well, because it was one of the few places I could start a reserve, and who didn't want to start a reserve. I know it probably doesn't look so good on paper, but obviously I'm going to have the chance of scoring more points by the fact of riding against easier opposition. So hopefully that will, well, I'm sure bring some confidence on board with me to move into the season.
And we wish you the very best for that. Thanks to Nicolai Klindt. A familiar face at Wimborne Road over many years, and we can think back to, I think it was 2002, 2003 era when this man first graced our shores. He is, of course, from Poland. He's now 32 years old, and he'll be the Pirates' #1 for 2017. Krzysztof Kasprzak! Krzysztof, you describe Poole as your second home. I know you're very glad to be back, I'm sure. And you helped us out a few times now, and you helped us out at the end of last year, but now you're back full time, and it's good?
Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, it's like you say, it's my second home. When I first time come to England, it was Poole, 2002, and after this we go to Matt's house with Mr. Victor and sign the contract, my first contract in England, and that was when 12, 14 years ago. It's a long time, but now I'm very happy I'm come back and I try the best to make the points for Poole.
It was interesting for me because when I can remember very vividly when you first came, of course Tony Rickardsson was number one, and you now find yourself as number one. Did you learn anything from Tony? Do you take an example from Tony?
Yeah, of course. This is Tony and Leahy, Jim, Anton, Limbeck, many good riders. I learned so much from Tony. I always go together with him to airport and I copy him, what he do, what time he goes to sleep, what he eating, and that's helped me very much in my career. And later in Gorzów I have Golub close to me, again very good rider, and now I'm very happy I can be on this place where they was a couple years ago.
And it's nice to know that rubs off. Is it easier to ride in Britain now that you don't have the Grand Prix? I know you have a busy career in Poland as well, but you won't be in the Grand Prix this year. Does that make your tasks easier?
Yeah, of course. That's why I come to Poole. Always when I'm back to Poole, like 2012 half season, because Bjarne crashed, I'm back to GP. The same Neil and Matt helped me make the contact with Peter Jones. And from this 2012, my career changed so much. My engine was really good. I nearly won the GP 2014, but I crashed, and now I think about the same. I want to make the same way, come back to Poole, make the points here, make points in Gorzów, Sek, and back to GP.
Poole is good for Krzysztof Kasprzak. I gather from Gordon, who I know handles your business in Britain, that you rented a track in Poland. So tell us about that. You rented to prepare for this year.
Yeah, of course. We'll be 2 weeks ago in Croatia, 3 days with my team. I'm raced there 3 days, and when we come back, all Gorzów team rent the track in Rawicz, similar track like in Poole, 300 meters, 330. And yeah, I'm trying my bikes, new engine, Peter Jones sent me new engine, and the best engine I'm choice. Some engine I sent him back to make the, something different. And yeah, I'm really happy. I'm raced Friday, meeting for Darcy. It's also rider when I'm racing, the same here. Hit 13, 15 always. He's a very good boy, and it's very no good what happened to him, but we try to help him Friday.
That's fantastic news. I'm not going to let you go without mentioning Speedway Portal, who have forged a partnership with you, and you have a new website.
Yeah, Speedway Portal, a guy from Poole, make me new website, social media, maybe Portal, Speedway Portal Media, KK507, and we'll be all live. Every meeting he recording me and Poole team will be good for sponsor, I think so too. All fans and my sponsor in Poland can watch this, and will be some interview. He might be interview with all riders, I think, and thank you so much. Gordon, they helped me so much, thank you very much. He found me some sponsor this year. Victor, of course, helped us. Last 15 years, we always stay at his house, and we can stay Matt house, and we have Midlo place if you need to clean the bikes, and like I say, many friends here. Thank you very much.
It's great to be home. Krzysztof Kasprzak. So this year, the final word goes to another very familiar face here at Wimborne Road, and again, starting 2017 as his second consecutive year as a Pirate. Of course, it all began here for this rider as well. This time, he's 36 years old with an average of 10.01. So he opened his account on Saturday, actually, on Sunday rather, with 18 points in PK's farewell. How about that for Hans Andersen? Hans, great start to the season, and laying down your marker straight off.
Yeah, it was just nice to get back on the bike, because I've not been on the bike up until Wednesday last week due to my injury. So I was a bit nervous to come back too early, because I didn't want to come back and not feel right in the hand. So I kept pushing it backwards and backwards. But I had 20 laps of practice on Wednesday last week, and then straight into that meeting, and to win my opening ride against Everson was pretty good.
I'm guessing now. I'm guessing now that you're feeling fully fit and confident, because obviously with an injury, there's a lot goes on in the head as well.
There is, especially the left hand is the more vital hand in Speedway, it's your clutch hand, and everyone knows if you can win the start, it makes everything a lot easier. So yeah, I feel fairly fit, and I just want to go out and ride my bike every time now.
Well, we won't dwell on 2016, which ended because, of course, your injury prevented you from making the playoffs, which you deserved to be in. You'd helped us get there, but unfortunately that was a disappointment, I'm sure.
Yeah, it feels like I as a person, got an unfinished business here, and I think most of the fans feel we got unfinished business from last season. I was brought here by Matt to win the title. It didn't happen, so like I said, unfinished business.
It's going to happen. Captain of the Pirates again, and some pride about that, I'm sure.
Well, they might think I'm a bit tough, I don't know why. Yeah, it's pretty good. I know most of these boys, and language-wise, I'm pretty good as well, foreign languages. So my job is really just to make sure the boys are happy, and everyone knows if you're enjoying what you're doing, you do that a little bit better. So that's what I'm here for as well.
If you're good at foreign languages, can you understand what Gordon Pairman says?
I've been lucky to live with him a few times at Matt, so I do get along with him quite well now. So I think there's a bit of sign language in between still, but we get along.
And as far as the team are concerned, obviously, we know that there's a great strength in depth, and to lead a team like that must be something very, it gives you a great sense of confidence.
It gives you confidence. You don't have a gun to your head straight away. You have to max it in and out every week. So it's nice to be in a team with strength and depth, rather than like some of the other teams. They look very strong at top, but very weak at bottom. So again, it's nice to have a team with 1 to 7 be able to win races.
Well, I know that you're a great motivator, and I've seen what you've done when you get behind your team, the Danish team, and I know last year you were very proactive in the pit, so it's great to have you as a captain. Have you got any new plans or preparations for 2017?
No, I just want to stay injury free and achieve my goals, which I didn't do last year because I was injured, and the sort of end of my season where everything really counted. We had playoffs obviously over here and Poland, and I still had a chance of winning the medal in the European Championship, and it was less than a week before the GP Challenge, and I want to give the GP another go, so my aim is to get back in it.
Nice to hear. And finally, it's a testimonial year for you. Do you have any plans on that front?
I've got a few plans, but I just want to sit down with Matt and find the right day for it. I want people to come out in huge numbers, and we want to run it a little bit differently, and I've got a few people which I'm going to bring back, old Poole faces, which people would really like to see back, so it will be interesting.
We'll look forward to hearing more news about that. For now, Hans Andersen, everyone. Well, that concludes our introductions, as it were, for 2017. I'm sure the team will be very happy to sit for a few more moments. If you've got cameras ready and you'd like to take a photo, if our official photographers want to go first, if you'd like to come this way first and take your opportunity. Once the official photographers have got all they need, if you want to grab a shot before the boys go, that would be about now. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.